The whole setup of university just screams risk of burnout, but after having struggled with this for a while myself, I think I have found a way to make it work. Hi, my name is Jael. I study educational sciences, and on this channel I share both science-based and experience-based tips for getting the most out of your life as a student or young professional, but in a happy and healthy way. So burnout while studying, sadly, is a fact of life for many people. You first feel like you are coping well, but then every few weeks or months, you have crazy mental breakdowns because you just feel the stuff that you have to do piling up. You lose all your motivation to do things, and you just have to push and push to make it at least until the next holidays. And then you do make it to the holidays and recover a bit, but then it just happens all over again. And the point of telling you this is absolutely not to make you scared if you still have to start university, because as I will be talking about in this video, there is a way to do university without constantly creating these burnout cycles. But it is something you should be aware of, because honestly, the whole setup of university just screams risk of burnout. But after having struggled with this for a while myself, I think I have found a way to make it work, and I would love to share this with you today. Before I go into the tips, I think it's important to discuss why studying, especially at university, makes you prone to burnout. And I think this comes down to two main issues. One, university is very high stake, but also arbitrary, in the sense that yes, you go to university to learn things. That is of course not arbitrary, but the actual activities that you have to do to learn these things can feel quite arbitrary. Like, why should you read this specific paper, or write this specific essay on this specific topic, or memorize this specific information for a test? People are made to be able to work very hard and endure a lot of stress for things that they find meaningful. But sometimes it can be difficult to find or remember the meaning in all the somewhat seemingly arbitrary things that university requires you to do. And two, university grants little structure. And although this little structure can actually feel really nice after coming from the very rigid structure in high school, having little structure in your life can also be a cause of stress, because you lose overview. And having no structure also means that there are no clear boundaries. No one is telling you that you just have to sit in a classroom for an hour and then it's done. You technically can just keep going on forever and there will be no one to stop you. And this can make you more likely to overwork yourself. The first step to surviving university without burnout is to get clear on what you want to get out of university. And very important here is that you consider what you want, not what society or your parents or whoever else wants from you. And don't be afraid to admit that what you want is different from what others want from you. This is your life and you get to decide how you want to live it. And I know I'm saying this very strongly, but I think this is key to finding meaning in the things you do for university. Do only the things that you genuinely want to do, and don't do the things that you do not want to do. And of course, this is not as easy or black and white as I am stating it now. Of course, sometimes, or maybe oftentimes, you have to do things that you don't really want to do, but it's just obligatory to get your degree. But then focus on why you want to get that degree. This could, for example, be because of the security that it grants you, or the access that it grants you to certain professions, because this is how you give it meaning. But then don't go overboard and try to do these stupid random things perfectly all the time, if doing everything perfectly all the time is not something that you genuinely value. And I recently saw this video by Elizabeth Phillips that I will link down below if you are interested, in which he says that what you actually value can really surprise you if you really reflect on it. And I tried the exercise that she talks about in this video, and indeed I was very surprised about how different the things I actually value were from the things that I thought I valued. So make sure to think about what you actually value in university and learning, and act in accordance with these values. Because finding meaning through these values is a very big part of what will allow you to work hard for university without burning yourself out. So the second thing that is really important to do is to set your own boundaries. And I think there are two important types of boundaries you should set. One is boundaries in terms of time, because it's just really important to not work all the time and to give yourself enough rest. Because getting enough rest is so important for your brain, and getting enough rest will actually help you to perform better in the times that you are working. Having enough rest or enough time to rest also gives you the space to reflect on your day and your experiences and your values, which is very important to make sure that you are only doing the things that you want to do. So the first thing that I talked about. Because if you don't give yourself enough time to reflect on this, it is very easy to get caught up in the regular flow of things and the expectations that society or your direct environment imposes on you, and again start doing things that you don't really want to do. And I think it is important to set these time limits both on macro and micro skills. So start with how much time you would like to spend per week, then per day, then per activity, and then make sure that you actually stick to these boundaries because you've set them for a reason. And then the second type of boundaries that I would recommend you to set are boundaries on activities. And this might seem a bit similar to boundaries on time, but it's actually quite different. You can, for example, say, okay, I can take maximum 1 hour to revise this paper, but I am not going to double spell check it because I know that's a waste of time. And then it could be that in the end, just doing the revision without this double spell checking takes you only 45 minutes. And then it's important for you to just stop and congratulate yourself on having been able to do what you wanted to do in less time than you expected. Because again, you set the boundaries that you set for a reason, and whichever type of boundary that is most beneficial to you in any given moment is the one you should stick to. And I guess I already said it a bit implicitly, but being conscious about your boundaries requires you to be conscious about your values and vice versa. And I think that this constant value-boundary interaction is the true magic of this approach. So then the last thing you should do is to create your own structure, because this will help you to keep an overview of everything you need to do and prevent this feeling of being overwhelmed. And again, I think there are two important structures that you need to have, and that is a task structure and a time structure. And a task structure is where you keep track of all the tasks that you need to do, and a time structure is where you track when to do these things. And there are many ways in which you can do this. For example, I have used Notion, but also Google Calendar in combination with Todoist in the past. And I will link the videos that I made about this below if you are interested. But whatever tools you want to use, having these two structures will ensure that what you want to do also actually gets done at a certain point in time. And this is a great way to prevent burnout because it allows you to mentally let go of all these tasks instead of having them constantly flying around in your brain and making you feel stressed and agitated. So, in short, what I believe is the key to burnout-free studies at university is to first get very clear on your values and what you want to achieve at university, then translate these values into clear boundaries, and then make sure to use a task structure and a time structure to schedule all these tasks in accordance with these boundaries. And of course, these three levels are in constant interaction. So if you notice that it is impossible to schedule all the tasks within the time boundary that you set, you might want to reconsider either your time boundary or your activity boundary. And to do this, you might have to go back and reconsider your values. But that's, of course, totally okay, because you are a person that is consistently learning and evolving, and your values and boundaries and structures should evolve with you. But by working and thinking about your university studies at these three levels, you ensure that you are being mindful about the work that you do for university. And I believe that that is the true key to preventing burnout. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and that it was helpful. If you did, make sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up so that other people might find it as well. And let me know in the comments if this approach appealed to you, or if you feel like a completely different approach is necessary. Also, let me know if you have any further questions about burnout-free studying or any other study-related topic that I could answer in the next video. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me. Thank you again for watching, and I wish you lots of love and a life of learning.